Welcome, everybody. This is a Vancouver real estate market forecast in the month of September here. We're September 19th right now, and I have with me, I'm Bill Coughlin from the Vancouver Market Reports and Investors Group, and I have with me Jerome Micheal from the Growth Group, also with EXP. Welcome, Micheal.
It's a pleasure to be here, Bill.
So listen, we're going to have good fun today discussing. Listen, what does everybody want to know? Did the quarter point interest rate make a big difference? Are we going to see an improvement on our real estate market? Have the It looks like China dropped their 100% tariff down to what is it, 75.8% on the canola. Is that going to have an effect on us? We're seeing theoretically some positive news on Canada getting some sales outside of the dependence on the US. And then we've also still got some reality checks like, 100,000 Canadian jobs lost in the last 2 months. So we're
That's
going to talk
massive.
about the positive and the negative and see what the future is for real estate in the lower mainland here. Make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, it's an important question because real estate in the Lower Mainland is the talk on the tip of every person's tongue here, as we know. I mean, anywhere you go, anyone you speak to that's probably over the age of 30, I would say, wants to know what's happening in the real estate market. They want to know where the market is headed. They want to know if they bought too high, if they want to know if they're going to be drowning and sinking. And so this is going to be a good talk.
Yeah, and by the way, I mean, for myself, 43 years in real estate, I just love talking to people. And the second you open up the subject of real estate, everybody wants to know, is it the right time to buy it or not? Right? And I,
Exactly.
I, I do have to chuckle over the years, try and find a single realtor in my 43 years that doesn't always say it's the right time to buy today. The
What do
story
they
never
say?
changes.
What do they say? Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and then wait.
Yeah. Actually, who's our big Warren Buffett, right?
Mhm.
His little uh, his
For
little
sure
saying
happens.
in life is buy when nobody's buying, right? Sell when everybody's selling, or whatever.
Yep.
Buy when nobody's buying. Okay. It's a negative mark. That's when you buy. And sell when everybody's buying. Right. Got it. Anyhow, interesting. But boy, are we seeing incredible investment potential today. Holy crackers.
Absolutely. I don't think there's been a time, at least in the last, since 2022 when the market had peaked, I don't think there's been a better time right now to buy. And anyone that's been holding their wallets for a while, looking for, hey, when is it going to be a good time to buy? I personally think it's now. Just seeing how the market has shifted since 2021 to date now, I think correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, but I think we're had a correction of about a solid 30%
From when to when?
from 2022 up until now,
Oh, yeah. Right. Well,
right?
in fact, why don't we actually look at that? I'm going to pull that up here right now. So this is the Fraser Valley Home Price Index on extreme accuracy. This is not the normal MLS. This is what I've spent my entire life savings on. So that right now, this starting in the year 2000, and we can see right here, um, back in July of 2020, in the middle of the COVID start, things
Hmm.
went stupid here, and actually, I'm going to put that number, I'm going to check that number right there. I'm going to say we spent $1 million on July 20. Let's see what it looks like. If we spent 1 million bucks on a house, residential home in 2020 in July,
Hmm.
July. We'll pick July. I'll just calculate the 5 years. So here we are. Let's call this bottom $1 million in July. And we peaked out here in March of 22 up 78% from
Hmm.
the bottom. So this is an
Is this
all-time
for
record.
is this for Mission we're looking at, or is this for
This is all of the Fraser Valley.
the
Mission
greater
itself
all over the
doubled.
Fraser Valley?
Mission,
Okay.
Mission did hit 100%, but
Yeah,
here we are counting
incredible.
Surrey and Chilliwack, right? So
And you know
all
what? I've been saying this for a while that I don't think we'll see a time such as this where it's gone up that much in that short period of time.
well, first of all, this is all-time craziness. This is not reality. This is people so gold fevered. It was an absolute buying frenzy here. But I want to show you reality. Let me just show you if we compare this to, say, for example, I'm going to pick Calgary here, right?
Hmm.
Um, and watch this. Calgary, we started going up like stupid in October of 2020. We were up 5% in 2 months, and then we were up 32% by the end of March. Look at Calgary here; it's only up 2%. We're up 32%. Calgary's up 2%. And then here you come over to the peak,
That's crazy.
and and we're up 78%. Calgary's up 10%. Are you reading my lips here? That's reality. This is a normal Canadian market here. Okay, now they did take a little. Now, by the way, this is actually very interesting. Here's when Russia invaded Ukraine, and we died here, and uh, the federal government raised our interest rate 1 full percent point in June. We really died. And then look what happened to Calgary. With the extra interest rate, they actually went up. Are we kidding? So here they're at up 11%. After the interest rate increase, they're up 24%. Completely opposite. We're crashing. Calgary's actually going up. Are you kidding? Now that is strange, really strange. But anyhow, in general, if you look at Calgary, it's sitting there up 27% and then pretty much flat lines. They're actually tied today. So if you would have invested $1 million in either, say, Abbotsford or Calgary at exactly August 20, today we're pretty much identical. Here we are in April of this year, absolutely tied, both up 47%. But to put that in perspective, here we are with the peak for the Fraser Valley and Vancouver at March 2022, up 78%. And there's
That's
Calgary
incredible.
up 10.
I
Now, if
don't
we
think I've ever
compare
seen
this to
something like that.
Edmonton, Edmonton's just exactly the same thing. Watch this. Let's check Edmonton here. Edmonton did not even much more of a flat liner. And you must remember in Edmonton we've got zero Asian buying contingent. Like Hong Kong money back in the 90s hit Vancouver, Toronto, and a little bit of Calgary, right? Didn't ever hit
Yeah.
Edmonton. So here's Edmonton at the peak is up 8%, not 10%. And then after the peak, they're actually dropped down to 6. And they got that same little bump that Calgary did, but up to 15, not 24%, right? If we put Edmonton and Calgary side by side, we see a bit of a difference. But overall, here we are now. The Fraser Valley mark is up 45%. Edmonton's only up 26%.
Hmm.
So that's interesting, isn't it? So on
Yeah.
the wonderful investment side, I hate to say this, but stable is good. If you're buying an investment home in Edmonton and it cash flows, you are stable. You can count, so many years before you pay off the mortgage. It's going to be clear title. It's a good, solid, basic investment. There's no crazy ups and crazy downs like the Fraser Valley just experienced, right? Make sense?
Yep, and I think the ones who are smart or could forecast the way the market was moving probably sold. I have what, three clients I can think of off my head that actually sold off because they were so excited and stoked about the fact that they've never seen their money grow,
Yeah.
like 60% in one year. They bought it for 1 million, sold it for 1.6, took that 600,000 renting, and then now they're finally ready to buy and pick up a steal of a deal. And that's what's been happening really in the market right now. Strong, strong buyer's market.
So listen, for anybody listening out there, we're discussing what the market will do in the future. And let's say we have the positive forecast and things like interest rates drop a lot. Like right now, we got a quarter. I don't think that'll make a hill of beans a difference at all. If anything, I think it could make people decide to wait because they know the Americans, Powell is committed to two more reductions this year. So he did a quarter, pressure to do a half didn't happen, and then let's say another quarter and maybe a half. So we might have a half to three-quarter point drop by Christmas. So many buyers, in my opinion, would say, well, why would I buy now? I'll wait until it's down another three-quarters point. So it creates a delay. Now, I've seen the opposite of that when it starts to go up and people are convinced it's going to go up a lot more. They will buy right away because they don't want a higher rate in the future. Well, this is the reverse. I actually think they're going to wait. What do you think, Jerome? Got an opinion?
I think because the rates have gone down for the first time, what is it, since March? They've gone down for the first time this last week here. I think I would have to agree with you that people are not too excited. I think there's still a lot of uncertainty in and around the world, especially with the States and everything that's happening,
Yeah.
as well with the tariffs and all of that. So I think people who have been, sitting back and watching the market, I don't think this one rate cut is really going to excite them too much. I think they're going to still wait and see what happens. I think the next announcement is October 29th.
Listen,
Um,
we're going to have a real quick look at the sales for the last 2 weeks, for the last month, and really analyze what's just happened right now. Now, for anybody else that wants to see this data, it's free, it's on the internet, but Vancouver Market Reports, okay, and out of the 60 million web pages, line number one is typically where we are for the last 11, 12, 15 years. Now,
Incredible.
let's just go over this very lightly. For the month of August, we still don't have September figured out, but for the month of August, 6,754 listings marketed for that period. 844 gave up, canceled, terminated, expired, and we ended up with 412 sales. Jerome, that's a 6% sell through rate. That means 94% failure rate. Are we kidding? Not seen it this bad in my 43-year career. That is bad. Now, we need our 10 to 15% to be stable. 6% should be losing. Gee, what was it last month? It'll be very close to 20 grand was lost. Well, actually, it should be right here. We lost $10,000 in Vancouver last month, and we lost 17, 18,000 in the Fraser Valley last month, right? The
Hmm.
previous month. So today, uh, at 6% coming into August is not complete yet, but we got to be down 20 grand, if not 25,000 bucks. And now the Fraser Valley, once again, 6,200 listings, 1,130 quit or terminated or canceled. Holy crackers, that's a big chunk given up. It's actually more people gave up than actually sold. So at 546
Wow.
sales, we did not hit our 15% or 10% to be stable. So at 8.8%, we got to be down another 20 grand this month, right? So there's the numbers. Now let's have a look at the 2 week period. Now, for all of you that your eyes just popped out of your head and there's green stuff coming over yours, I'm sorry for all the data on the screen. We'll maybe have our videographer zoom it into just a short little section so your eyes don't bug out of your head. I love data, right, Jerome?
You do love that data.
And
You're the data guy.
I scare the living daylights out of most realtors. And again, holy crackers. But here, let's just talk about it a little bit. Once again, now this is the 2 weeks ending September the 5th. Okay, we had 219 sales out of 6,561 listings. We're at a 6.2% sell through rate. That's better than six, but still, that's
7.2.
extremely low, you guys. We need 10% to be stable, 10 to 15. Okay, this is not good. And
I want to throw something in there. Do you think the reason why out of the 6,000 plus homes that are listed, only a short number of, what is that, 219
yeah,
are sold? Is it because, I think at least, I think it's the pricing. I think people are still not fully um believing that the market is where it is and they're not listing it at the right price, I feel. What do you think?
oh, gee, we could talk about pricing. I just did a major study. You're not going to believe it, but I virtually spent 2.5 full days, 3 o'clock in the morning stuff, studying how much prices are being reduced on sale, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
boy, was that revealing. Like, I could pull up the data right now. I'd have to do a little bit of homework, but very simply, people are coming down $350,000 over a year and a half. They list a year and a half ago and they keep dropping their price 100, 100, 100, 100, and they finally sell. It's like, guys, you got to be realistic here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But look at some of these numbers. Something like Burnaby with 533 listings sold
Only
10
sold 10.
homes.
Wow.
And now look at that's 4% sell through. That's 96% failure rate. Now look at West Surrey. Now, West Surrey goes from North Delta to
Wow.
King George Highway. Okay. That's 70% Indo Canadian, right?
Yep.
Look at this. We have 9 sales in 2 weeks out of 877 listings. Now, by the
That
way, if we
is
break
a
the
crazy
lower
number.
mainland, these 20 cities, you guys, if we want to break into cultures, let's just say Vancouver is our high end rich people, okay? Let's say West Vancouver is the ultra rich. These people don't have a mortgage. They have money coming from whatever country and they're laundering it in Canada, right? This is where they hide their cash and their $12 million homes, right? Boy, am I going to be in trouble that? Do I need to reword that, Jerome?
No, you're fine.
Okay, fine. Anyhow, so those markets exclude, but when you get to East Vancouver, we're talking blue collar people, like a lot of nurses and doctors, etc., right? So
Yep.
this is a very mixed culture. But when you're in Richmond, going to take a wild guess at 70% Chinese based, okay? Somewhere around
Mm.
there, right?
Yep. Yep.
So they think differently, and often they brought a lot of cash from China or Hong Kong over the years, and they're not in mortgage peril, right? You know, if they lose their job, it's not in Fort McMurray, right? And they're certainly not so worried about mortgage rates, right? Now you move out to somewhere like, well, Burnaby is, I'm going to say, is a half working man's crowd. But when you get all the way out to West Surrey and East Surrey, like this is a lot of, I'm going to have to say 70% Indo-Canadian to begin with in West Surrey. And I'm going to say in most cases, 70% of all of these people are going to have a half decent mortgage, right?
I agree. Yep.
They're all commuting into Vancouver for a job or whatever. So this is the bedroom city of Vancouver and totally different marketplaces. By the way, the one that always shocks me silly is Burnaby New West. And I say in general, New Westminster, the housing around there tends to be 6 to 8 weeks later than any of these markets, like an independent little world that is, let's call it old school Canadiana, right? Right?
Yeah.
Virtually no Chinese at all, virtually no Indo Canadian, in my opinion, right? And it's a separate little world. And then also, I always look at North Vancouver as the most stable city in the lower mainland. That anybody that sells in Vancouver moves out often to North Vancouver. So they're sitting there with, I'm going to say, less than a 10% Chinese contingent. And now we have a lot of Iranians, some Persians, right?
Yeah.
But it's a 70% Caucasian, old school Canadiana city and stable as a rock, real stable. If everybody's going down, North Van is doing good. And then we come out here, White Rock, which, I call this Vancouver over the years. But when the first $500 billion came in, this area went stupid, and that includes White Rock. So I don't put White Rock in the Fraser Valley. The Fraser Valley here, which includes Maple Ridge, is our bedroom cities. And this is the blue collar area to a big degree, right? And these guys, the majority of them need mortgage money. They need good interest rates. They need a job, right? That's what floats this community, right?
Hmm.
So, by the way, the sell through rates are different. If we have a 5% sell through rate in West Vancouver, because these people are all cash, they have zero pressure on mortgages. So 5% is a stable market. It's not going down. It might actually go up at 5%. You come out to Chilliwack with a 9% sell-through rate. A good chunk of these guys work on the pipeline, the Kinder Morgan, and they don't have a job anymore. They work in Fort McMurray and they are under pressure, right?
Lots of pressure.
Right? So, this is the tail end of the dog, which is where our starter homes for people just getting married and buying as cheap as they can, they have a mortgage and they will hurt faster than anybody else, right?
But
Right?
from the looks of this here, it looks
Yeah.
like as the market currently stands, a lot of people are more focused on moving out towards where there is more affordability,
You
right?
know what? Typically, Chilliwack hangs in there. Chilliwack goes up the most on average. In fact, well, why don't we just have a look at that? Let's just see how the markets compare here. I'm just kind of curious myself right now. Let's just compare the entire Fraser Valley with Chilliwack itself. And I'm going to choose middle, but if high end would actually go up faster than, well, let's just choose average. And we'll just have a look to see what the difference is here. Oh boy, that's pretty stinking close. How about that? Chilliwack went up 84% versus 85% versus 78. So it did go a little bit higher and it fell a little bit quicker here. So it went right down to 35 versus 42, right? But today we're almost identical. That's interesting. By the way, I do want to show you Mission, which is, of course, closer to our hearts, right? Um, but Mission is the one that set the, I'm going to say lower end did the most. It virtually hit a full 100%. Oh, there we go. 81 must have been the high end. Let me check that. Mission top. Oh, yeah, there you go. Look at there's Mission at 97% at the peak. That's Mission's high-end homes. So that's people coming out from Burnaby or Coquitlam all the way out to Mission to buy their $2 million home, right?
So in
Right?
other words, they've made the people of Mission really wealthy.
Yeah, yeah,
98% increase.
yeah. And they didn't drop as fast. Look, the Fraser Valley dropped down here. They're down to 38% over, and Mission's still sitting at 51. Now, is that realistic? Maybe the Mission boys have kept their prices high and they don't sell anything, right? Right? And now we're virtually identical. Mission is on track with the rest of the Fraser Valley, both set 47, 48% over the base price. But anyhow, Mission set the record for virtually hitting right there. It shows 97% over July of 20, right? If we went back a couple of months, they actually did hit 100%, right? That's
Hmm.
interesting, eh? Okay, so what's your forecast?
But where the market is headed,
Hold it. Let's go over some basics. Why will the market change in the next year? So, okay, a couple of things. We lost 100th. I'm going to be Mr. Negative. You can be Mr. Positive, okay? And next meeting, we'll reverse roles, okay? Does that sound fair?
sounds good.
So everybody's going to love you. They're all going to hate me. That's just life, right? So, okay, let's do this. We lost 100,000 jobs in July and August. 100,000 jobs. When Trump ripped up our NAFTA agreement in 2016, we took us 900 days to get a trade agreement, 900 days, almost 2.5 years. We lost about 300,000 jobs by my calculation. We can do some research and study it more. But bottom line is, the American president is trying to draw investment money into the states, like let's just say 10, 12 trillion dollars, and get manufacturing going there and make a lot of money and really help the Americans raise their income, right?
Yeah.
Reduce taxes. So that is happening. No matter what we do, they're getting a crazy amount of investment and they should go gangbusters the way it looks. You can love Trump or hate Trump, but he is fighting for America to make America the golden age of manufacturing or, AI, etc. Right? So that he's on the track to do that. Now, Canada, on the other hand, um, we got a 35% trade tariff from the states on things that are not covered in our Kuzma agreement, our new one. So that's hurting people. So 100,000 jobs gone. So the 50% tax on steel kills the steel companies. They cannot survive at a 50% tax. That is not going to happen. And aluminum, don't know, but the Americans still need our aluminum. So will they still buy it with a 50% tax? Don't know. But um, I don't know how much trouble our aluminum companies are in. But forestry, that's the industry that's going to get hurt the most, from what I understand, is our forestry industry, right? But this is not good. We're going to lose a lot of jobs. Now, what is being pretty silent out there for other tariffs that almost nobody knows about, but China put 100% tariff on our canola, I believe September of last year, October of last year, and they just reduced it in August to 75.8%, right?
Mhm.
That has had billions of dollars worth of damage to our economy, right? and just studying that right now. I can actually pull that up in a minute if we wanted to look at it. But we're not out of the woodwork on that. We're fighting hard to get other buyers for our canola, but those boys are hurting. And then trying to also put, I believe, a 25% tax on, okay, 14.54% anti-dumping, and that's until, 25%. A proposed additional floated in early, but what was exempted under the USMCA agreement. Wow, that's good. Jerome, did you have any idea on that? What did you think our wood tariff was?
I thought it was 30%, wasn't it?
Well, hey, look what we're looking at here. Not that you can trust ChatGPT. We need to check it over again, but it was a proposed 25% tariff in early this year. But at the end of the day, Canadian softwood lumber was exempt under our current CUSMA agreement, right? Whoa, I did not know that. So they're still considering could rise to 27% more later on. So that's interesting. So, okay, 47% on Canfor, 26% on West Fraser Mills, and all others are 35%. Okay, I guess there it is. There's the numbers.
I think, yeah, 20%. I think it would really depend upon how the interest rates start to drop in the next 6 months here. And I
Yeah.
think if it stays where it is and maybe drops just another 0.50 to the max, then yeah, I think the market will still start to come down. Still a lot of correction to be made.
Here's our August numbers at 1.43 mil for our Fraser Valley market. So a year from now, if we're going just a minimal drop, it would drop, like $50,000 over the year. But if we're talking 20%, I'll be red for the negative, right? And you can be blue for the positive. But right here, this is bringing us right down to, that'll bring us right down to about 1.15, 1.14 on that average home price, which would have peaked out at 1.8 back in March. But that's what I see for a negative forecast right there. I Jerome, I don't care what you say. I don't think we got any chance of any real recovery. The best we can do is stay stable. Overall, there's a big picture on what the market's doing. So for anybody that's watching this YouTube video or one of our platforms, I'm asking you to like this video, join us, put notify on so when we produce the next one, you get to see what the market's going to do. So very simply, what is Canada's future in our real estate? Is a good time to buy, a good time to hold, or a good time to sell? I'll leave you with this conclusion. I've never seen investments today that are so sharp that they cash flow. So buying a two-bedroom condo, often you can rent it out with a really good income exceeding 70%, 60% mortgage and have it completely pay off the mortgage in 7 years. I've never seen that in virtually 35 years. So, boy, is there some opportunities for them, people to invest in a long rental income, good investment. Okay, as Warren Buffett says, the time to buy is when nobody's buying. And there gives you really, really good opportunities. Bye bye for now. Nice meeting everybody. Please click the like button. Please click the subscribe button. And absolutely click the notify button so you get the next update on the Fraser Valley, Vancouver real estate market forecast. Bye bye for now. Find us at vancouvermarketreports.com.